Hello, everybody. This is James. That is Susan. And we're here for another Florida Lifestyle podcast today with Miss Susan. And she's here to tell about her lifestyle experience. Everybody give her a round of applause. How you doing today?
I'm good. Thanks for having me. Doing good.
Yeah, thank you for taking the time out to share with the world about your lifestyle experience and showing our different culture in Florida.
No problem.
So definitely. Now, you are a Florida resident, correct?
I am. I am.
Were you born and raised or what?
I moved here when I was 12, so from Tennessee.
Okay.
So I basically
Okay.
raised here, pretty much. So I've been here a long
Right.
time.
Right. And it's a great culture here.
Oh,
Now,
yeah.
yeah, now with your lifestyle experience, how did you get into the lifestyle? What intrigued you around what age and more? Let us know your journey.
I would say I'm a newbie, I guess. It would be funny. A lot of people don't think that when they meet me and stuff, but I would say I'd been in it about 3 years. And I found out from what was it, one of the dating sites, and somebody asked me about like a fantasy I had, and I was like, well, I'd like to try something with two men. And I was like, all right, and he's like, you should try to get on the
Yeah.
site. And he's like, you could get that and anything else you wanted. And I was like, oh, really? I thought he was crazy. I was like, there's no way. Like, I kind of knew about swingers. I'd heard about a lot of things, but I never understood it. And I always felt like, oh, I'm not that type that would fit in there. You know what I mean? I don't know. I just think, the stigma of life, you know what I mean? And I was like, I don't have the perfect body. I was like, there's no way. I'm not gonna, it's not gonna work out for me. Yeah, I was wrong. And kind of got into it that way. And then
Right.
just it I kind
Oh,
of
well, you
jumped
got a little
in
back.
more than like got into it slowly. A lot of people, are the opposite of me. They like get into little things here and there and they learn. For me, it was like I felt like I jumped headfirst and just kind of went crazy like for a while, and a lot of crazy experiences at first, but so much fun. So
Yeah, well, that's good that you accepted it so
yeah,
openly you did. You say you've been in it for a year, right?
3 years, about three
3
years.
years.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, and that is awesome. It's cool how you kind of stumbled upon it,
Yeah.
being someone who what I like is how you said you were so open because you seen the cult, the stigma, probably what they say in the media and so on. And then you got the chance to experience and you got to see like, wow, this is a whole nother world. Like, and even though I am free with how I do it, people are still respectful of who I
Very much
am,
so.
accepting of me. Like, it's a whole nother world to what the non-monogamous world is, when you're single, degrade you and
Oh,
stuff of
yeah,
that nature.
for sure. Yeah. It's definitely
Right.
different. It's definitely open. There's so many good people along the way too. So
Right. Now, what site do you usually go on? Do you go on SDC?
I have been on SEC. I not as much, but I started off on FetLife actually. I've been on
Okay.
SLS as well, which, I found a lot of couples and things like that there. Which being single at that point, like starting off, it was a lot more that way, more meeting up with people and kind of just figuring out what's what and, going to parties and going to resorts and different things like that. So I've had a lot of experiences, private things, um, dates with like couples and, things like that. So just some fun times. I even went to Fort Lauderdale and
Right.
like Hollywood and different things like that. So
Right.
yeah.
Now, jumping into the lifestyle when you did start meeting people on your own as a single female,
Hmm.
what was some precautions did you take? What are some tips you could give other single females with jumping on websites and meeting people through that nature?
Yeah. I was told very early on, thankfully I had good friends that started when I did start that were like, don't go to like anything by yourself. Like, be careful. Make sure you got somebody with you, especially if you go to, anything a little crazier, theaters, or you go to like the even the resort sometimes, you got to be careful. You just don't know So it's better. It's kind of like anything else. In numbers is always a good idea, or knowing somebody, like just even if they're just a friend, like you're not trying to hang out with them necessarily, but you just go together. So somebody that's kind of checking on you and, hey, you doing okay? Or you all right? And just somebody that has your back and make sure that you get out of there safely and you're covered. So it's always good to find people like that, or at least when you get in there, try to find somebody that you feel like can kind of guide you into what's going on. So, find couples that are open and like, they've been in it a while and you can kind of tell. You can start to figure out who's who and, who knows what they're talking about and find somebody you feel safe with and just kind of, start going around to that and start little by little. And the main thing is just being open and, not afraid to say, no, I'm not okay with this, or no, you know what I mean? And you just stick to, this is what I'm okay with, and this is what I'm not, and kind of have that in your head before you even go, So, and you can expand
Right.
that. I'm not saying it can't change. Obviously it does. As you go along, you learn and you grow, but you got to have that first off, to start until you get comfortable with it. So, you know,
Yes, definitely.
you know.
Yeah, you definitely gotta have that. I feel like that's strong for females. I was talking to a single female in the last episode, and she explained that in general in life with you females, because I teach that to my daughter. She's only a little kid, but I teach
Hmm.
her like as a girl, you don't have to do anything that you don't want to,
Right.
because I know sometimes it feels the pressure, and then the pressure will come to resentment, and then resentment will come to regret. So
Right.
please, any female that get in this lifestyle, don't be afraid to say no.
Right.
If you don't like something or you're not feeling somebody, or you feel like the place is awkward, whatever, just say no.
Right. Don't be afraid to leave and say, okay, I'm done for the night. Let me go home. And it's okay. It's okay to be there for 10 minutes and say, I'm not comfortable here and go. It's okay with that too.
Right,
And
right. It's
I would
always
say, sorry, I'm a little wilder with some of the stuff I do. I'm more open to a lot of things and all that. And sometimes
uh,
it gives me a negative, with some people, but it still doesn't give anybody the right to do anything they want. Like it's more like they still need to be respectful. Not everybody remembers that. So it's always
yeah.
important. So,
Yeah, no, I totally get it. That's like my wife. My wife is very out and wild and more open with
mhm.
what she does. So it's like,
Right.
I get it. But it's
I've
all
seen some
what
of
you
them. Yeah.
right. It's all what you into. But if you don't feel comfortable, don't pursue. But like,
Hmm.
I understand
Yeah.
because yeah, we're pretty freaky. So,
I watched
so
some of your other ones, so I seen some of your stuff, I was like, yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Well, I'm glad you see what you see.
People never believe it with me, but I get it. So I completely, when you know, I guess it's like that one
Yeah,
of the things.
yeah. I'm like a cheerleader for any woman that like to express themselves, man.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
I'm all
Yeah.
about it. It's all about, being comfortable. I feel like this is a great world to have a female be express themselves. Like you said, it's safe.
Oh
You
yeah.
know,
Oh
you have
yeah.
your
I've never
precautions
felt
here and
safer.
there,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
but most of the community is close. So
Very much. Yeah. Oh yeah.
yeah. So you get a red flag, that red flag will go up everywhere.
Yeah, because everybody's like, oh, somebody knows somebody, it's very tight, like on that. And I mean, a lot of people know who I am, and they know if I'm saying, okay, something's not okay with this one, they listen to me a lot of times, because they're like, okay, if she doesn't like him, there's something wrong with that one, you know. So, it's fun, it's good in
Right.
that way, and I have felt very safe, probably safer than probably anything I've ever done in my life because of that, because there's so many people that will back you up and like, look out for you and hey, watch out for this or, stuff like that. And I love that. Or they're respectful. If you're just like, I'm going home, they're like, okay, have a good night. Like nobody gets an attitude, and it's always fun. It's good.
His friends are not all your non-monogamous friends aware you in a lifestyle, or do you keep it hidden, or your open lifestyle? What's your dynamic with?
It depends on who it is. Family
Okay.
wise, not really. They think I'm in like an adventure kind of situation, like hang out with friends and that kind of thing. Um, my coworkers actually know a lot more than I wanted them to know, but it kind of flipped, certain conversations came up and I was like, oh well, so I just get teased about it all the time, but nobody really gives me a hard time. They actually love it because they're like, you're so just who you are, like you're open and we can mess with you and you're just like, whatever. And I'm like, well, I guess when you know who you are, you don't really worry about it, you know what I mean? And that's the way I look at it, I'm like, now I know more about who I am than I ever did, because of it all. So they're like, and they love that factor of me because they can mess with me and tease me, and I'm like, yeah, okay, you're not wrong. And I keep on going. So I have fun with it. But regular friends, I would
That
say
is very
most
powerful.
people
That was a
basic
powerful statement.
don't know. Yeah. But
Yeah. That was
so
powerful though when you said know who you are.
yeah. It's not
Because
easy,
when
but yeah, I learned. It took a little bit, but
yeah, it takes a while. It definitely does. It like I speak a lot about my conversion. It took a while for me. I was raised in pure monogamy, and didn't even think
hmm
that, I had a little kink to me, but I didn't think that this world was definitely not acceptable.
right.
I wasn't even really aware of this until I started watching some little adult films of Screw My Wife, and then it
Yeah,
went down a rabbit hole.
right, right. Yeah, I mean, for me, like I grew up thinking
But
that, and I was
when
like, I had to be
I
quiet.
was in my mid-20s and right, never mind.
Skipping around a little bit.
If I'm back on track with you,
Yeah, I think it is now.
okay.
I heard 20s, and
Okay,
that's
yeah, I know we got a little delay. Excuse it, everybody. This is the internet here. But yeah, but at least you getting the information out, so which is great. What made you
yeah.
have that switch to like, I don't want to be monogamous no more?
My whole life, like my dad was the type that was like, when people came for company came over, they were always like, go in there, go in your room, go be quiet, and stuff. And I fought with it for a long time to be out. Even now it's harder for me. I'm not one that starts a conversation necessarily. I'm still kind of working on that. But I work in the public, like I work with people and stuff like that all the time. So I've learned, customer service, things like that to deal with people. And I think with the lifestyle and like the way you have to kind of talk to everybody and you have to learn the social side of it, it's helped me open that up, and be like less than, oh, you have to stay in a room and be quiet. Everybody's like, no, get out here and be who you are. And, it's helped me open that up a lot. I've definitely come out of my shell as far as way back. I'm still a little bit shyer, but it takes 2 seconds. You talk to me and say, hey, how are you? I'll talk to you. I'm not rude. I'm not just who I am. But, it takes a little longer for me. But it's opened me to not be completely like sheltered or like stay in the corner and say, oh, I'm not talking to anybody. I mean, it takes me a little longer than some people, but it's definitely gotten me better. What I mean? Like I can walk in a room and I know people that I know from somebody or they know me because of the sites. And I'm like, hey, and they start talking to me and it's the great, it's good for me. It brings me out more too. So the more I do, the more people I meet, that kind of stuff. So,
Right. Right. Now you say you recently just got in a relationship within the lifestyle. How
mhm.
has that dynamic has been since that's different from being single? I'm pretty sure it's probably more comfortable now, right?
Um, I
Well, I'm
mean, not
assuming.
quite yet because he doesn't live as close, you know what I mean? Like, so it's not a day-to-day kind of involvement right now at the moment. Like it's gonna possibly change to that. We're working on that part. But so it's like we talk about it. Like I tell him everything I do. It's very open, very much hey, I can do what I want to do kind of situation, but he still
Yeah,
wants to know, and I still like, vice versa. So we're very open with that, which I love. It's fun to have that person
that
that
is beautiful.
cares about what you do, like, okay, let me know when you get home and okay, have a good time, doesn't care that I'm out doing me, but wants to know how did it go, wants to know how things were and that I got home safe and that I had a good time, that kind of thing. And if somebody but did say anybody, anything problems and all that, that kind of situation. So that part's been fun and kind of his excitement for stuff I do, for me too, like it's fun, to have that that side, that's somebody that's day-to-day caring, not just occasionally because they want to know, what's going on with me, that kind of thing. So it's different in a good way.
Right.
So
Right. It sounds like you guys have a lot of compersion in the
yeah.
sense. If you're
Yes.
aware with that word, the love that's open for another person's love. And that's very important
Hmm.
in this lifestyle. So that's very good. You have a partner that's like that. Big
Yes. Yeah, we actually met. The funny part is with that, like 3 years ago too.
ups to the guy you with. Who you are,
Dang.
make you
Yeah, we
make you
met early on, like in the beginning, and he just didn't know. He thought I was with someone else or whatever. He didn't really know I was single at the time. So it's kind of funny that it came full circle and we found each other again. So it's kind of crazy. But
yeah. Well, I'm glad you found that partner.
yeah, I
Yeah.
did.
Now, do you go to any of the you say you've been to the resorts actually, because I was listening.
Mhm.
So what resorts have you been to, and what do
Um,
you advise some people to come to if they come to Florida?
I go to Caliente. I've gone to Secrets. I've gone to Paradise Lakes. I've also gone to Trapeze, which isn't, not a resort, but a club, over in Fort Lauderdale. So I've done all of those. I love Secrets on Tuesdays, as funny as it sounds. Like a lot of people are like, it's by night, but I have a blast there. Like I have fun as a single, at the time single, but still, kind of sometimes I play that, go out that way. It's a fun night because there's a lot of them there. A lot of people are there. There's a lot of mixture of every kind, different type of people. Um, Caliente, a lot of times I go on like a Thursday night because it's ladies' night. So you get like a drink and it's kind of I don't care if I see anybody or if I talk to anybody or if I just kind of, it's a veg night, it's kind of fun. It's beautiful there. People are usually very kind, very nice.
Thursday, Thursday ladies night. Sorry to interrupt, but Thursday ladies night, is it free for the ladies to come in?
It's not free, but it's like you get free drinks from like for 2 hours, like 8 to 10 or something like that.
Okay,
So, but it's still cheaper. I mean, it's still not,
okay.
you get a ladies' night is like probably I think it's $15 or something. Like it's pretty cheap, but the weekends are crazy there. I mean,
Wow.
you can be fun, but ladies' nights are nice because, like I said, I get a glass of wine and just go sit by the pool in the hot tub and like I don't care if I see anybody, if I play with anybody, I don't care what I do the rest of the night. It's just kind of a breathe and whatever happens happens kind of night, so it's fun. We groups of women and sometimes they're like, if I'm there, sometimes I'll go with a friend or whatever, and they go off do their own thing and these girls will be like, hey, get over here, why are you sitting there by yourself? And it's fun. Not every night's like that, but it can be a good time. So and
Right.
in Paradise, I haven't been as much, but it was more like a karaoke night I went to and a couple things like that. And I met somebody that was like an airline worker or something like that one time. And he's like, come see me. And I'm like, all right. And I've been to like a couple of house parties people host in there and things like that. So not as much of the resort necessarily that I would say, but I find it fun there. They had good like play areas and things like that. That was very open and very down to earth, I guess, better. Like Caliente is a little more
Right.
scale,
Right.
a little different than that. But
Yeah, that crowd is Paradise Lakes is really for the chill, laid back.
yes, yes, yes. It's very just like mellow and everybody's just, hey,
Yeah,
how are you? Kind
you're
of.
not really like rowdy and party like yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because of the community that all stays there is that there's a home and the whole residents that stay there. So actually the club is kind of like their rec center for their community.
Yeah.
So we're like
Right.
bombarded kind of on their rec center.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
that's why it's so
Exactly.
chill.
Exactly. Yeah, I haven't done
Yeah.
secrets or anything like on a
Now,
weekend, but I mean, I think
okay.
they're all pretty fun. I do more like
Yeah, they
personal
are.
like parties and local things and things like that private things that they set up and stuff like that. I think I go to more than a lot of the resorts and things, but those are still kind of fun once in a while. So
Correct. Same here. I could concur with that. I go to more private events or we'll throw private events
yeah,
more than the party set, more than the big settings,
yeah,
because I like the intimacy more that you can communicate more and talk
mhm, Crazy.
to people more at those private settings? Now you say you've been to Trapeze. I know they have one in Tampa. You say you've been to the one in Fort Lauderdale. How
I
was
don't
that
know anything
experience?
about one in Tampa, but I didn't know there was one that I've heard of.
Yeah, it's actually
But
one that
I'll have to
no,
find
it's
out.
Eyes Wide Shut. Sorry, that's Eyes
Oh,
Wide
that's
Shut.
very different. Yeah, okay, okay.
Yeah. Sorry
Okay.
about that. Now, how is
Um
Trapeze? How was that
I
experience?
loved that. I mean, it's very expensive as far as, for to me, even for couples to go, but worth the experience. I mean, I loved it. I went with the guy, who was a business guy from New Jersey, and I was with him because he was like, friend, we'd been friends. I knew him from here, but he was visiting, at this time. He was for work, and so he's like, "You want to go?" And I'm like, "Yeah, why not?" So we went for like 3 days. And so we'd go to Hollover Beach during the day, and then we go there at night. And then it's like you bring your own bottles in, and they had like a buffet, like they did dinner buffet, and then at midnight I think it changed to breakfast or something like that. I don't know. I don't eat like that like crazy, but I know they had it. And the guys of course love that part. And then you bring your own stuff in, and they have bartenders that serve you. And then they have like the playrooms, and they have like couple ones, and then they have single ones, and you have to be a couple to go in both sides obviously, and then you have to be invited to go to the other side. So that was fun. I mean, I loved the atmosphere of that. It was just the whole thing was great. It had a regular like club atmosphere in the front, dance floor, the whole 9 yards. Um, and then you go in the back, and it was like
Right.
completely different.
And
So
actually,
it was great. I loved it. So, yeah.
that's awesome. That's awesome. I've been to Hollover Beach before back in my 20s. I haven't been since I got more experience in the lifestyle.
Mm,
So I definitely need to go check that out. For anybody who don't know, in Florida, that's a new beach. So that's a
hmm.
new beach down there in Fort Lauderdale, Miami area. It's very
Yeah.
fun, very chill, you
Yeah, you
know.
can't do anything like, on there, but it's fun to you people watch, and then you can hook up for later or whatever the case may be. But there's a lot of like, people around, but it's fun. It's different, because you don't have
Yeah,
to worry
yeah,
about
it's
getting in
different.
trouble.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, it's different. The thing is it's so many, it's so open that you definitely can't get away and do nothing.
not really.
I wish I wish we could, that'd be a
You
great
can,
beach.
but it's very risky. Let's just say it's not worth, it's probably not worth it in the end.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, it's not
too many cops around.
worth
So,
it. So just go out there, enjoy your new body and have a great time.
exactly. It's fun. Yeah.
Well, yeah, Susan, I'm so glad that you took the time out to help everybody in the lifestyle. Now, before we end this conversation, I want to
Mhm.
know one thing. When you hear Florida lifestyle, what do you think of?
I think of fun. I think of community. Um, I don't know, just freedom. Freedom, like freedom to be just who you are. And, there'll be someone out there to accept you, and maybe not everybody's going to, and that's okay, but you can have a good time, and you will find friends, and they'll be forever friends. You can get out of it tomorrow, and they'll still be your friends, that kind of thing. So it's, just enjoyment and, freedom, the best way I can put it.
That's awesome. And what's the biggest tip? Another question. What's the biggest tip for newcomers that you think you could give?
Ask questions. Don't be afraid. Like, just ask them. You know what I mean? To me, there's no dumb, the only dumb question is the one you didn't ask. I mean, because you're not going to know unless you find out.
Praise
And
the
a lot of
Lord.
people have the knowledge. People know. People have the knowledge of, what goes on and what doesn't. And, like, is this kind of party, is this something I'd be into? Because not everybody's going to be into everything. It could be a gangbang, it could be a regular party, it could be whatever. Not everybody's going to be into every one of those or want to experience that necessarily. So it's, you definitely need to know that information before you go. So ask.
Definitely. Definitely. Yeah, man, that was a great conversation, Susan. I appreciate it. I know we had a little lag, but don't worry, you got great information out to people. I feel like your conversation was very warming and welcoming. and it helped. I feel like it can help a lot of people understand with your down to earth big personality. Like it's so big
Thank
and it's
you.
so down to earth and chill. So that's good, because it gives
I like
people
that. Yeah.
a
Thank you.
good understanding. Yeah, and it's easy to listen to you. So it's very great. And I appreciate you taking your time out to help us. And we'll be sure to get you some Florida lifestyle gear too.
Oh yeah, that's great. I've been looking at them. I'm like, oh, I'd wear that. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I'll be sure to get you some gear. I'll message you and get your sizes. I'll get you a hat, and we'll definitely get you some so you can represent the Florida lifestyle. I
Definitely.
made this gear, this fashion line to actually so people could represent the lifestyle freely and elegance.
I love it.
Because yeah, because it's not too much, everybody lifestyle and stuff is kind of like a little vibrant, but
Hmm.
this is a little subtle.
Right.
I like the
Yeah.
vibrant stuff because the vibrant stuff look great, and I love the designs. They're great for parties. But I was like, maybe I should create something more subtle for a universal
Right.
situation.
So
I
people
wore
can
this at my
ask you.
children's, yeah, I wore this at my children's school. Nobody even paid attention because it says Florida.
Right. They don't know.
Yeah, if it's like if you know, you know, and then if you
Right?
do know, you still questionable because it says Florida. So you're like,
They'll never believe it with me anyway, so it's okay.
you know.
I get to know, and I get the school teacher the tease of it won't be you. I'm like, you never know. So, mhm.
Yeah, we your everyday neighborhood friends, man. Thank you, Susan, and I'll be
Mhm.
sure to contact you and get your sizes to send you off the gear, and
Okay,
hopefully
great.
we get you on another appearance on the show. Thank you so much.
Anytime, just ask. Let me
God
know.
bless.
God bless.
All right.